What's up, guys? It's Corey, and I'm back with some more Warframe. This time I'm doing something a little bit different, and this is actually the second time I'm recording this video, just because the first time I rambled too much, and I didn't really like it. This episode, I am going to be talking primarily about Warframe's new player experience. And the reason I'm doing this is because recently, a couple of days ago, I guess, I watched a video by Jenna Bain, who she makes some YouTube videos. She is also she is Total Biscuit's wife. She really doesn't normally do stuff about video games. Most of her videos are about like Total Biscuit eating weird foods that he gets out of these mail order boxes and like their pets and stuff. More just like fun, dumb little things. But she made like a half-hour long video about why she quit Warframe, and I don't necessarily disagree with anything she said. Um, Her big complaints were the grind, obviously. Anyone that has played Warframe for any significant amount of time, even I've experienced it in the month that I've played. Uh, the grind is real, and it's intense. And if you don't know what to go for, you can feel like you're not making any progress, or whatever the thing is that you're grinding to get is so far out of your reach that you can't obtain it ever, seemingly. Like you can make no progress towards it because there's so many roadblocks and barriers in your way. Um, and I don't disagree with that. And I'll get into that in a little bit. Her other complaint uh, was tutorials. There were systems in the game that she did not understand, and there were no tutorials to help her out. She wanted to progress through the game solo. She wanted to do it without spending any money, which is maybe an unusual player, maybe a very common player. I don't know what the standard Warframe player base is like. I am totally willing to spend a little bit of money here and there, but she wanted to do none of that. And that is just going to increase the grind even more. And she wanted to do it all solo, which seems crazy. I don't know why you would do that, but that's what she was doing. That's apparently how she enjoys playing, so in that case, maybe Warframe is not the game for her. But that's not, again, I don't even know that's necessarily her fault. So let's talk about the first thing, which was, I've actually totally forgotten now. Fuck. Alright, so we're going to talk about the first thing that she complained about in that video, which is the grind, which is intense. Anyone that's played this game for a while knows that. And the reason it was maybe especially intense for her is we'll go up here, she was going for a very specific Warframe. She started off with Volt or Mag, I forget which. And she wanted to get Mirage. Now, I've been playing for about 60 hours, according to Steam. 62 as of this morning. It's probably a bit different in-game, which I can check in a minute. But she wanted to go with Mirage specifically, and she had not played as long as I have. I have not seen any pieces of Mirage drop. I don't know where they drop. I haven't looked. So, she wanted to go with this one specifically because of the abilities, which is totally fine. But that is not that is part of the problem. The problem being that in order to get a fair number of these warframes, you have to proceed through a substantial amount of other content to get there, and the game doesn't really tell you that. It doesn't tell you where to get the materials that you need, where to get the blueprints you need. Because if you go in here, for those of you that have not played as much maybe, it says that you need a Mirage helmet, chassis, systems, and an Argon crystal. Now I know where to get an argon crystal. I haven't gotten one yet, but I know where they can be obtained, and that's in void missions. Mirage, chassis, helmet, and systems, you have to craft those, I believe. That's how most parts work. That's how most where you get a blueprint for that specific piece for Mirage's helmet, and then you have to put together the materials to craft it. And crafting it takes a bit of time. Like usually, I think for each piece it's 12 or 24 hours, and then for the whole piece, putting everything together takes 72 hours. But it doesn't tell you where the Mirage helmet blueprint drops. And these three, if they're anything like Rhino, they could all drop from the same boss, and you just kill the same boss over and over and over again to get the pieces, and eventually all three will drop. That could be what's going on, or it could be something completely different. I've played 60 hours, no idea. And she didn't know that either. So she spent a bunch of credits on that, and was completely unable to get anything out of it. So she just wasted credits, essentially. Which I have done. I wanted to get Ember before I realized what that would take, and I bought that. But then, luckily, I moved on. I found Rhino, and things have been good since then. So yeah, just like the amount of information they give you and the amount of information they choose not to give you is really out of whack, and not it's not good. I wish that stuff was in the game. For me specifically, I'm used to playing games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Monster Hunter, where there can be a lot of grinding, especially in Monster Hunter. And none of those games tell you dick about anything. So I'm used to going to wikis and YouTube videos for stuff. Same thing goes with stuff like Terraria and even like old school Minecraft when we didn't know how to craft anything. That was a whole fucking disaster at that time as well, but that's 5 or 6 years ago at this point, when that was still an alpha and no one knew how to make anything. But yeah, like it just doesn't tell you any of this stuff, and you have to go out of the game to find that. And since I've played those types of games, I'm very used to this. Most other players, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to be as willing to go out of the game to get the information they need. If they're gonna be like, if they're the type of player that plays a bunch of big AAA, like highly polished video games, regardless of platform, whether it's PC or console, if they mainly play those types of games made by those types of people, those things are focus tested to death. So any of the information that you need, you should be getting in the game. And a lot of the time, they're pretty good about that. There are still exceptions, which is maybe another problem, but that's not the problem here. So yeah, this is the problem this game has, and it makes it a poor new player experience. And the other thing is the mods. The mod tutorial, or lack thereof, is ridiculous. So you can go through here, and it'll tell you a little bit about mods. It'll tell you about auto-equipping, which I don't know why you would do. It told you about scanners. It tells you about the polarity, drain, and rarity, and what they can be equipped on, what they do, fusion levels, which are important. It does give you some information, but there's a lot that goes into mods that is not in that tutorial. There's no voiceover, there's only, and a lot of those pages is just like artwork and is not even text. The mod system is complicated, and not having something more significant than that seems like a really big problem. because anyone that's played Warframe for a significant amount of time, even I've been running into this for a dozen hours or so at this point, at least. Even I've come to the conclusion that the vast majority of your power at end game comes from mods. Your ability to survive, your ability to do damage, your like the effectiveness of your powers of your Warframe. All of these things are drastically affected by your mods. And this is like the meat of the game right here. And all you get is a 5-page tutorial that is mostly pictures. That is total bullshit. That should not be how that works. This tutorial system is completely inadequate, and there are people that don't know what fusion is. I haven't done any transmutation myself. I understand what that means, but I just haven't done it. I don't have the credits and the mods to throw around because I'm only 60 hours in, which seems crazy to most people, to most games. Only 60 hours in, you'd think like, oh, game. Here, no. That is not a fucking drop in nothing. So yeah, the system, people that are new and don't understand it, is completely inadequate. And they should have a quest chain or something that takes you through mods that they'll have you go through. They will have you get some predetermined mods, then they will have you level up those and explain them to you. They will explain the mods, they will explain the polarities, they will explain what fusion to do it, and how the entire system works. They should probably also explain transmutation. They should probably also explain the damaged mods, or just get rid of them entirely because they're just shit. There's a lot they could do to improve this, and technically this game is still in open beta, which seems like a bunch of bullshit. I like this game a lot. They're making money and charging a lot of money for their content if you want to pay for it. This should not be an open beta, but that's an entirely different discussion about what this game is, what betas mean at this point. So yeah, that's kind of that's what she thought. That's also what I think. Unfortunately for her, the grind was too much. She was not into it. The tutorials, or lack thereof, were incredibly inadequate for her, while for me, I was able to get through that stuff because I've played games that have used fusion like that, or in a very similar way, like Puzzle and Dragons on phone and shit like that. I've played a lot of those, so I know what that system is, and I know how it works. So the fact that there's no tutorial here doesn't affect me, but it would affect a lot of other players. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Like Digital Extremes could fix this, and they really should fix this. I mean, Blizzard went and completely redid the new player experience back in Cataclysm by redoing and like significantly tutorializing every new starting area and completely redoing the old world to make it a significantly better questing experience, so that by the time you got out of that and got into BC, which is still old content, you had a much better understanding of the game. And even well before you got to BC, you have an understanding of the game and how it works, because it takes a while to get there. But they've done a lot to make the new player experience in that game good. Digital Extremes doesn't seem to be doing that, and I don't know if it's a priority for them, but it really should be. They could be retaining like so many more players by improving that system, and they don't seem to be. I don't know. I don't know when this stuff was added. I don't know if they have plans for more of this other stuff. But this should absolutely be a high priority for them, because I feel like it's going to drive off a lot of players. And maybe they don't need that many more players than they've already got. Maybe they've got their audience already, and they don't really care so much about the new players. But that's still really shitty, and they should still fix that. So yeah, guys, I guess that's it. Um, like I said, I am going to continue to play this game. Unfortunately, Jenna Bane, and I'm sure many others will not. Um, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on how I felt about that video and what it made me think about the new player experience in this game. Because even though those problems didn't affect me as much, I can absolutely see how they would affect a large portion of the new players that they might ever get. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this wasn't too rambly. I don't know if this is something that was even remotely interesting for people to listen to and watch. Mostly listen to, obviously, because I've just been standing in my ship for a good 15 minutes. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching again, and I will be back with some more stuff as soon as possible. So until then, take care.